Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going in depth with one of our actual clients on how we took them from a product that didn't exist to doing over $250,000 in sales in 12 months. Really excited, so let's cue that intro. That matters, but let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back. I am so pumped today. I have the pleasure of bringing on one of our clients that we're actually transitioning. He fired us. You might have seen that email I sent out a couple of weeks ago where he fired us. Well, this is the guy that fired us, and I want to talk about why Eric fired us. For the last 12 months, we've been working together to really get his fitness empire off the ground in terms of he is the founder of Calorie, which I'll let Eric get into what exactly Calorie is. But for the last 12 months, we have been battling Corona with inventory, supply chain issues, and he was still able to, last summer in 2020, launch a successful at-home, on-the-go fitness product. And our launch on Indiegogo raised just over $60,000 US with over 1,100 backers. And even right after that, we continued.
In 6 hours.
In 6 hours, yes. I forgot about that little tidbit. But I forgot about the... I didn't forget about that. We then transitioned off of Indiegogo, continued pre-orders, continued selling through delays, finally developing a product, finally launching on Shopify, and just 12 months later, we've almost broke $50K in revenue a month. And the reason why Eric fired us is because I'm going to let you tell that story, Eric. Why you fired us after we've really, in the last 12 months, you've generated over $250,000 for a product that didn't exist 18 months ago. But yeah, let's do it.
Firing is such a strong word. We're just transitioning to it. We're transitioning to an internal marketing person just to make spend a little bit more efficient.
Yeah.
But essentially the only reason we're able to do that, the only way we're able to afford that, and why it makes sense is because we're at a level of scale now that we could not have possibly been without the last 12 months. So first off, here we go. I got a little package right there. It's a beautiful sample. I don't even have the real bracelets. It's like a duct taped sample. But yeah, we've been focusing on building this brand, and in the beginning, when we were selling heavyweights, so Telp Fitness is one of our early e-commerce brands, and those have obviously done really well. We had a very good year last year, knock on wood. But they're very difficult to manufacture. They're heavy to ship. Shipping containers are extremely expensive. So we wanted to launch another product that was geared toward a different segment of the audience that wasn't super heavy bodybuilder, and it was more toward female. And I wanted to do something in the accessory space. And so my wife and co-founder Vanessa, she came up with this idea of these, weighted bracelets, weighted jewelry that are a bit more on the fashionable side and are more versatile and wearable throughout the day, so that we didn't have to ship 75, 200-pound weights to our customers. So we had a couple of options, and this was, in late 2019. We were like, well, we could either invest a whole bunch of money and develop these products and hope that they sell, or we can test the market and see if there's going to be product market fit. And so we spent a couple of months first kind of toying and tinkering with the designs, and then when it came time to get this product backed, we didn't know where to start. And so, just to be frank, I was just like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, I don't know the difference. I don't know how to get started. How do you build a list? And everyone was, you got to talk to Khierstyn. All right. So we connected, and you did a great job of laying out what our costs were going to be, what the strategy was going to be. And I still didn't know how we were going to do this. I didn't know how you attract people to a product that they had never seen before, never heard of before, and can't touch. Right? So how do we do that? You create some kick-ass creative. You create some really nice 3D renders. I mean, this is if you don't have a prototype, right? Because remember, so coronavirus is going on. So the manufacturers are either shut down or behind. So getting samples and getting prototypes and all that stuff is just happening extremely slowly, or not at all. And we decided that we were just going to go for it. And so we started working together in June of 2020. And next thing we know, you blink an eye and the launch is the next day. And you've got a list of email subscribers. You've got a Facebook pixel that's firing. You've got all this stuff happening, and you've got a good momentum. And you wake up and you got these nerves that like, all right, today's launch day. Are people going to be even interested? Now, up to that point, we had gotten some really cool feedback just on 3D renders alone. Yeah. So I was more hopeful. I'm very optimistic. We get funded, and now you're like, oh crap, I got to make this thing.
Yeah.
And I got to deliver
this
thing. So, you're still dealing with delays and prototypes, and this is an accessory, and so we're getting samples, and we're working with multiple types of materials. We work with a product development firm called Gemba, and so we've got silicone, we've got iron, we've got elastic, multiple factories, we've got the packaging. We're working on designs, we're working on content. It's a lot going on, and obviously, you're doing this all on the side of what you're already working on and how you're already making money.
Yeah.
And so it's a grind. Yeah.
One thing to actually dig into, if you guys are watching this and you're like, what is Cali Weights fitness? Okay, so Cali Weights, what is Cali Weights for someone who has never heard of your product before?
Yeah. So Cali Weights are quarter-pound bracelets that you can stack, and they're made out of beautiful, soft, medical-grade silicone. Mm-hmm. And so they come in all these different colors, and you basically are stacking them from a quarter pound to up to a pound per wrist. And they come in a set of 4, and we have all these different color combinations. Yeah. And maybe we can cut to some cool images. But essentially, it's a wearable fitness accessory that looks great with any outfit, and it's something that you can wear during your regular routine just to give you added resistance, just to give you a little extra boost throughout your day. And so it's not, there are some chunkier, bigger weights on the market that are nice but are frankly uncomfortable after you wear them for 45 minutes or a yoga session. So we want you to wear ours as long as you want. Wear them to the office. They're a conversation starter. They're extremely comfortable. And they just fit so nicely around your wrist, and they're just something, we like to say mix and match, stack and style. So most of our customers are getting at least 2 sets. So they have a choice of 4 different colors, and then this way it can vary it up. And so now that they're on the market, our UGC is really building up. Our customers are loving them, and we're seeing really cool ways that people are styling them and using them from, their fitness routine to going to the grocery store. And that's really cool feedback for us, because we don't always know like what people are going to use these for and what they like them for. And we're still iterating, we're still learning. It's been a heck of a learning curve on the fashion side, because you've got sizing issues. Some people like things snug. Some people like them fit. Someone that's wearing them while they're boxing might want them to fit tighter than someone that's just wearing them around the house. And so there's customer service and there's all that stuff. But these are good problems to have, because when you have a cool product that people are engaged in, and you provide really good customer service, then your brand starts to take on like a legitimate, feel, and people start, telling their friends to get them and buying them as gifts and everything. So that's what Cali Weights are, and we've got some awesome products in the works to add on to this product line.
Definitely. So one thing I think that Cali Weights is doing really well, even before we put in a couple programs to ramp up the UGCs, was you guys would get some really great reviews, but you'd get customers uploading photos and tagging them on Instagram of using Cali Weights around the house, etc., where then we implemented a program to help incentivize people to do more of that. But I'm curious, like before we put in that monthly giveaway and a few other things to get more intentional about UGCs, how would you say in the beginning you got people to provide that level of reviews, UGC content, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with personal relationships. You have to reach out to friends. You have to reach out to industry, acquaintances and network professionals that we're sending a lot of free samples out to.
Yeah.
People that are in the fashion space, people in the editorial space, people that work with celebrities, people that, quite frankly, wouldn't use a product like this. I wanted to get everyone's feedback. I don't want to get this confirmation bias of like, oh yeah, these are gorgeous. Thanks, Mom. I wanted to get everybody's feedback, right? Yeah, real people. And so we're shipping them all around the world to people, to stylists in Spain, to people in California, to our local friends in Florida, North Carolina, New York, because I wanted to get, a feel of like, are these, are people going to be proud to wear them? Yeah. And so that in combination with working with a social media team, because you can't do everything by yourself. So I had a friend that was helping us with social media, doing a lot of reaching out and fielding messages and comments and just like constantly just doing engagement like that. That stuff's really important to kind of drum up a real feel of community. Yeah. And so those are the kinds of things that once you start getting those images and you collect them and you start putting them out there, that social proof just goes so long, so much further than even just like good marketing. And so doing those things really helped us.
I love that. And so we actually just had in a, what do you call it? She works with getting products into celebrities' hands, into editorials, into all that like side of magazines, etc. Earlier with their Scale Mastermind this week. And I think for you guys, that is definitely an avenue that's going to pay off. Have you seen, like when you're shipping product out to celebrities, to editorials, have you guys had any bites with that yet?
Yes, yeah. So we started creating some custom discount codes for micro to mid-size influencers. We haven't done like massive influencers because they're expensive and we're just not there yet. Yeah. But with our folks that work with celebrities and have their own social media followings, 30 to 35,000 people, they tag us in their stories, they tag us in their reels, and we definitely see pickup in sales. Mm-hmm. Some people don't even use the discount code; they just get there and they check out and they forget the code, and so we can't track all of that. But and frankly, we should do a better job of having like a stronger affiliate program, referral program, because those things are really strong. But yeah, you can see some traction, and people are a little bit much less skeptical when it comes through someone that's already following.
Totally get that. Through the process of bringing a product to market, I don't think you could have picked a worse year to do it. It was just a good thing that you had a product that was really on brand for 2020 with at-home fitness. But what is one thing that really surprised you about the process?
Managing inventory management, just timing, placing your orders, some POs, purchase orders will take 30 days. If there's a hiccup, it could go up to 90 days. And so when you're doing your inventory planning and management, and also I'm trying to do projections for customers. And so I'm doing that while managing. Now we're talking to large retailers, and we're doing national retail chains and local boutiques. So inventory management is something that I am trying to get better at, because having those projections so that your customers are not ordering and waiting too long is extremely crucial. Now we do have a lot of customers that have gotten angry, and then we have probably 80% that have supported us and have waited around. First of all, they bought it on, most of them that bought on Indiegogo knew what Indiegogo was. Many of them didn't. So they were like, I bought these bracelets, where are they? And I'm like, oh, well, we still have to manufacture them. And so, we've tried our hardest to fulfill all those customer orders, balance retail orders, push the factories without, ticking off the factories. Maybe literally just last week, we were supposed to have a shipment picked up, and the truck drivers were too afraid. There was a big coronavirus outbreak. This is June 2021, huge coronavirus outbreak. And so the truck drivers were too afraid to go pick up the goods. And so they're maybe arriving 2 weeks later. Well, guess what? My customers don't care about that. And so they're angry. And so I have to kind of say that in a way that makes me look like I'm in control, when really I'm not in control, and I don't want to blame everything on a global virus. But we have to make the customer feel like they're always right. And that might include giving them a refund on shipping, or giving them an extra discount code for another set, or in some cases a free set if they already bought 3 sets and they haven't gotten any. So, there's a lot of massaging that, and going above and beyond. And some people to take a different stance where they're just like, well, you can have your money back. And I'm like, no, I'd rather keep you as a customer and make you happy, because I know when you get these bracelets, I know when you get, I'm launching a metallic version as well, which are going to be awesome, beautiful. It's just logistic production is hard. I know they're going to be happy when they finally get them. So I'm kind of just like, look, stick around. You're going to be happy. And if you don't want to stick around, you're going to see them in a store and you're going to buy them in a store. Yeah. So that's one thing that surprised me, is just figuring out the timing of getting the product into the customer's hands.
Gotcha. Are you using any software for inventory management, or is it just a nice spreadsheet right now?
Right now, it's a nice spreadsheet.
Okay.
Shopify tracks our inventory, and we've got some Google Sheets with the manufacturers. But no, it's probably something we need to be looking at as we go into Q4.
Yeah. And then one thing, I know a couple years ago, when we really needed rush shipment, we would rely on air freight, even though it was at the time 5 times the cost of sea. But now it seems like they're very comparable. So are you sticking to air freight with any new inventory right now, or?
We're 100% air freight right now. We're still, it's been a year since Indiegogo, and we've gotten so many orders, and we're still in rush. I placed large purchase orders, but we're getting some surprising large wholesale orders now. And so, it's June, right? It's already time to think about Q4. So I need to airship the stuff that's going to be kicking off in August, because the boats, I'm going to miss that. Maybe I'll do some boats for Q4, but I still get nervous about that. So right now we're in growth mode. Yeah. It's worth me spending another $4 per set and losing that margin to get these in the States and get them shipping. I think we're not there yet with sea shipping. I think we will next year, and that'll help us a lot with our margins. And we haven't placed, so we're doing around, between 40 and 50,000 in revenue per month. I think when we get to the 75, 100,000 a month mark, that's when I can start comfortably placing orders for 20,000, 50,000 sets, and those will be coming over on boats. But it takes capital to do that, and so we're pouring everything back into the business, and we're just growing.
Yeah, I love that. So I did ask if there's something that surprised you about the process. In the last year, is there something you think that you've done really well that you pride yourself for as a brand?
Probably. That's a good question. Probably customer service. Just embracing every single email. I'm up till, I'm not outsourcing customer service quite yet. I'm up until 1 o'clock in the morning answering customer emails, getting feedback, looking at 5-star reviews, looking at 2-star reviews, addressing them, thanking the people in the medical field for helping us, thanking people in the military field, giving them military discounts, replacing, exchanging sizes if they need to. I mean, that stuff is just, there's a certain way that you can't offload that quite yet. We're not on autopilot, because we have so many different colors and so many different sizes. So that SKU count is, someone that's helping us customer service wouldn't know, unless they're intimately involved in the inventory, they're not going to know how to respond. So I take pride on that. I think we're getting better at content. We're getting better at hiring creative, and we do need to, do more photo shoots, and we need to constantly be putting out more creative, but we're getting better at that. Yeah. I think we take pride in the product itself, from the packaging to the product insert. And so, all those things are really good. And I think, if you if you are taking your brand seriously, you have to think about every single one of those details, from the website experience to the checkout process to the post-purchase emails to what's the experience when they open up the package. Yeah. And I've been selling on Amazon for many, many years. We're not on Amazon with this yet. I think about the same way that I do with the Amazon stuff. When you order an Amazon package, what's the experience when you get that package? What's your product insert? How can we push our manufacturers to step it up a notch, right? Yeah. So when we were looking at the design, I think it was Dan's idea to do a gold embossed foil, and that little extra added expense. I didn't blink an eye. I was like, let's do it. It's going to be gorgeous. And now when we have these people running these really high end boutiques and bar studios, and they have these sitting on their shelf, it looks like it belongs there. Yeah. And so those little details matter. You just kind of try to get better over time as you go.
So when I talk to people who are where you were a year ago, but minus the fact that you've already been selling on Amazon and already had Tuck Fitness, no experience online, people are really surprised when I tell them how long things take to make money, how long things take to ship, just how long everything takes. And a lot of entrepreneurs are like, well, you're full of crap. She doesn't know what she's talking about. But when it comes to seeing you in the process of this, you might be slightly profitable, but if you are, you're putting everything back into growth and back into inventory. And that's really the reality of what a successful brand is in the first 2 years, is you're putting everything straight back into growth. So considering it's long hours, it's obsession, you're not seeing the traction you want to, which you will, or maybe you are, but you know where this is going to be in 2 years. What drives you to work so hard to put everything back in and to go through that first 2 year slog of building a brand?
Yeah, I think there's a pride factor of building something, of owning your own brand, and just that a feeling of accomplishment. Like, not only did I start a business, but people are physically holding things, and people, when I go on vacation, and I haven't seen anybody wearing them yet, but I know the zip codes where people are buying them. So I'm like, oh, someone in this neighborhood is just bought my product. Yeah. That sense of I'm doing something that's going to be profitable at some point, and it's either going to be a target for us to get acquired or just to continue scaling, and eventually this will be my only focus. Yeah. Those kinds of things drive me, because once you start seeing some potential, if you just keep going and they say keep launching new SKUs, keep increasing your portfolio. And we've spoken with some private equity investors, and they're looking at acquiring businesses. There's a lot of Amazon businesses that are being sold. So those kinds of things, you're building an asset that has value to it. So it's very similar to putting your cash into an asset such as real estate that's appreciating over time. And while you may not have as much cash in the bank, you have an asset that is growing. That's going to be, you're going to have an exit plan, whether that's 2 years or 5 years. We don't know. Yeah. But if you like to build things, if you like to own assets, and that's a good way to do it. And eventually this will cash flow, and we will be able to pay ourselves and our partners and focus on it full time. But when you want to scale, you have to put it back into the business for sure.
Definitely. And then why start on Shopify versus taking the easy road, especially if you're a seller, on Amazon, and just going to Amazon where they already have the traffic? Why did you choose to launch a brand on your own domain first?
Yeah, it's a good question. We do a lot of Amazon, and we don't always, most of the time, don't own those customers. We can't communicate with those customers. We try to get them to our website. We try to get them to sign up for an email. But in this case, we own this list, and it's our community, and it's much easier to launch new products and new SKUs to an existing community. And so we've done, for all of our Amazon brands, we've launched Shopify sites. And so it's an added value, it's an added stream of revenue that we've seen work extremely well. And there's bigger margins because Amazon's not taking that fee. So I think you can always have both. And if I had unlimited inventory, I would definitely be on Amazon already, and I probably will be, in the next 6 months. But I think in the beginning, it's, for the Indiegogo purposes, we wanted to get people to check out on Shopify, and have the ability to have all those really cool apps and collect reviews and those types of things. Yeah. And so that made sense for us. And there's a lot of like weird wrist weights on Amazon that we didn't want to compete with. We didn't want to get lost in the shuffle. We wanted to have a product that had some brand equity. So when people come to Amazon, they're going to be searching for Cali weights, not just weighted wrist weights, and then they find a cheap knockoff.
Yeah. Because it's also a positioning tactic for you to be on your own website and have done Indiegogo. Because as you said, like if someone just was searching for weighted bracelets, you can probably get them for $10, but you are selling an item that's between $30 and $50. And the reason for that is because you have the relationship, you've got the customer service, you've got that brand equity, you've got the community, You've got something a lot bigger that you can create that emotional connection because you are selling a lifestyle solution as opposed to just a cheap knockoff on Amazon. So I think it's also like a really brilliant positioning play for you to build up a brand around Cali weights and the lifestyle as opposed to just, I'm going to launch a product on Amazon.
That's right. And I think your team did a really great job of helping us in the beginning think through a lot of that. What's the brand positioning? What's the, what kind of lifestyle? What's our target demographic? Those things are important. So you're not just like launching a product, you're actually building a brand. And so from the copywriting to the art design to the creative to the ads, your team did a very good job of holding our hand through that process. I'm not always the best at that stuff. I'm terrible at basic things like copywriting. But by doing some of those exercises and forcing your brain to think like that, you start to inherently be like, oh yeah, this is our angle. This is why I know exactly who my customer is. As opposed to just kind of putting it up on Amazon and trying to figure out who your customer is. So you may feel like you know who your customer is, but until you have some data, until you have their names and their demographics on Facebook and even Shopify and Instagram, you don't really know. And so you have to go through some exercises and get your brain thinking like that.
It makes sense. And then what are the top 3 things that you are focused on as a business owner right now? Top 3 opportunities.
So it's going to be perfecting the existing product line, which means, figuring out sizing, getting the inventory into the hands of customers, elevating the brand, elevating the brand appearance, because I think to really compete with some of our competitors and to be in that next phase of growth from the 1 million to 10 million, your brand needs to step it up in all different angles, from web to content to press and all those things. And then third is launching. Did I say launching new products? That's the third thing. Launching new products.
Yeah, so you said perfecting existing product line, but yes.
Yeah, perfecting existing product line. So the stuff that's already selling, elevating the brand, and launching new products.
I love that. What kind of, are you at liberty to say what kind of products we can see in the next few months? Say 12 to 18 months. But.
Yeah, absolutely. So some I can talk about, some I can't. Well, we're definitely working on an Apple Watch band. That's been a huge request by a lot of our customers, and so it's just literally just figuring out logistically how to get the weights onto the silicone band, and then we want to get the metallic ones out. So those have been sampled, but we're dealing with when they press them onto the silicone, they're getting scratched. And so we're working through those manufacturing issues. We're working on some additional jewelry that's going to complement the weighted jewelry. So they're going to be called like stacks. So you're going to be adding to your stack. And then we've got a couple.
Like a collection, that's going to be, like a jewelry collection, sort of like a.
Correct. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Cool. Yeah.
We just launched. Well, we didn't launch it, but we just got in like a kind of an athletic waxed cosmetic pouch, so that you can carry your multiple sets of weights around. And so that's going to be a nice upsell, right? Buy another set of weights, get a free pouch. And those are really pretty. And what else do we have? Yeah, I've got a couple other things that we're tinkering with. And then we've got, a long-term 3-year product vision, which is going to include some heavy product development and some more capital. But
like
I think
they're
like what?
Like it always does, right?
Like it always does. But those things are, they tell you don't go crazy, because now once you have a brand, you can really try to test in everything, but you want to stay focused and you want to make sure that the stuff you're working on is working. And those long-term goals, you keep them on a list, and when the time is right, you start investing time in those things.
Awesome. And then, hey, to wrap up, I have a couple last questions. First one is, what would you say to someone who is considering working with us?
I would say you guys you have the confidence to know when a product's going to work and how to take it to the market, and let the data inform you where it's going to go. And that means, what kind of ad spend you're going to need, what kind of positioning and creative you're going to need. I think, it's very nerve-wracking to think, why would someone buy my product? Even if you've already sold, you're just like, why would they buy this new product? They've never seen it. And so you launch those first few ads and you're like, no one's going to click on these things. They're going to think it's scam. And so you bring that, nope, we've done this a million times. We know exactly what's going to work. The stuff that doesn't work, we're going to move away from it. We're going to pivot to here. It's a very iterative process with you. And so you guys test a lot of things, which is awesome. And not only are you thinking big picture, but you're thinking minute. How can we optimize the conversion rate on the website? Going from a 1.5% to a 3% conversion rate, 4% conversion rate is a huge lift in sales. And so what's it going to take to get there? What kind of levers can you pull on the site, on your ads, on the emails, on the checkout? Everything is thought through. And how to interpret the data to see what's working. Also, you guys have come up with some really good sales and just calendar events to kind of tap into existing search, or just like a mood or a feeling, right? Because purchasing is very emotional. And so you guys have been like, well, like pricing strategy, right? So what was the pricing strategy? What kind of offers? We spent hours kind of going through what were we going to do? What were the packages on Indiegogo? And then now that it's live on the site, what kind of incentive can we do to lift the cart value?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what we want. We want higher cart value, longer lifetime value. So those kinds of things you've been really, really, really strong at, amongst many other things. But some people are better at some things than others. And so while I may be really good at operational, I might not always be thinking like, oh, what should our Memorial Day sale be? Right? It's just like, you have to wear a lot of hats as an entrepreneur. And so working with a team and partners really helps you kind of cover all those bases.
Makes sense. Second from last question, what is one thing that you want to say to someone who's just starting this process as an entrepreneur? I mean, you have to be a passionate entrepreneur. You have to want to really build something, and you have to believe in yourself and just block out all the noise, because it's going to be scary at times, and people are going to, put on my bracelets and say, these are really uncomfortable. Like, no one's going to buy these. And that happened. And so you have to just kind of go for it and believe in yourself. And it's not a quick cash grab, right? You got to put the time into it. But man, is it worth it in the long run? It is really worth it. And some things are going to, your launch might be a lot faster than your just go to market might be a lot faster than mine, because our product is a little bit more complicated. So in that sense, I would also say, start simple. Don't go crazy. Developing like a high-end tech, fitness tracker with like all kinds of components, like that's going to take you longer than just like your regular old widget. So just be focused and stay persistent. That's great advice. Actually, I have two more questions, but one of them is there anything I should have asked you that I haven't on this interview?
I guess you could ask, what do you not like working on with the business?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, so my brain starts to hurt when I start looking at things like Google Ads, and even SEO. Like, I don't understand all those things, and I want something and I want it to have results, but SEO might take 6 months, 9 months, and so I'm just like, okay, what does that mean? What do I have to do? Can you handle the SEO? I don't even know what that means, but I know it's important. And so, but then you start looking at some reports and data back from the experts that you hire, because you hire a lot of experts, whether it's working with you or Fiverr or Upwork, and you see, oh, okay, now it makes sense. So just keep an open mind, and be willing to learn this stuff, even if I'm not going to be managing the Google Ads myself. I need to understand why it's important. And so I don't want to, my brain kind of like turns off when there's like too much of that data. I just want to see like the high level metrics, the KPIs, how can we dial some specific levers to increase them? And I will go into the weeds for many things, but I can't go into the weeds for everything. You'd have to leave that to some of the experts.
Yeah, makes sense. And as long as you have a good understanding of the high level KPIs and look at a report to say, ooh, CPA could be better, you know where to dig in, as opposed to let's open these 150 campaigns and see what ad is not converting specifically. Yeah.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
I love that. Yeah, and it's great advice, because we get a lot of entrepreneurs at early stage on a budget, and they're like, I want to outsource social media. And I'm like, honestly, you have $3,000 to put toward your product launch. Don't do social media. You have to be the one to do social media. So also, like, just because I have a fundamental belief that we as business owners need to understand how to do a little bit of everything, so that we can speak the language of the developer, manufacturer, Facebook expert, et cetera, right?
100%. Yeah, you can't really hire unless you know what you're hiring for, and you don't really know how to manage it unless you've had a little bit of experience doing it. Mm-hmm. And so at some point you're touching everything. But yeah, you need to, have some battle scars, so that you can at least say, okay, I think I get what you're saying, but let's, dial it up over here, or you're doing a great job. Let's keep going.
Yeah, definitely. My last question is a brand plug for you. So if people watching this are like, where do I get Cali weight so I can work out anytime? What's your website, and how can people learn more about you?
Yep. So it's just caliweights.com. And we've got all different colors, silicone, metal, and we're going to do our damnedest to get them in your hands either in 3 days or a little bit longer with some colors.
Yeah, I still need to get mine, but we can talk about that offline. So I can have like a big Cali Weights banner behind me. But
I do have to send you some. Okay, good.
Not necessarily.
You guys actually, the videographer, they still got some sets. Although some of the sets from the sets of that video were actually spray painted. We were so delayed in manufacturing, we had to spray paint a 3D printed set just for the video. So sometimes you just got to fake it till you make it.
That was fun. I think it was a phone call or an email. You're like, our prototype's broke, and we're supposed to film. What? I'm like, I don't know. Let's
right.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
70,000 of pre-orders of spray painted, but you delivered the product. It's landed in hundreds of customers' hands now, and they're all super happy. So it worked out. But sometimes you just gotta like
thousands,
on your feet.
Thousands.
Wow. Good story. I'm like, figure it out.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You guys did awesome.
Yeah.
And so we're not firing. We're just we're growing up, and we're going to be coming back for some new product launches for sure.
Amazing. But it's a good angle. I have to say, I as like a little blooper thing extra, I sent an email to my list saying I was just fired, and the open rate was like double what it's been in over a year, and lots of click-throughs. Because people are like,
great
what
angle.
do you mean? Yeah, I loved it. I was like, how do I spin this? So.
Very good.
But
Very
I'm a
good
marketer,
spin.
right? So.
Yeah, exactly. Brilliant at that.
Freaking love it. Okay, Eric, thank you so much. Look forward to future product launches, and go from there.
Thanks so much for getting us to this level.
Awesome. Hey guys, thanks for watching. What was your favorite point about what Eric brought up on this interview? Let me know in the comments below. But apart from that, if you are enjoying the content and you want to see more helpful content that's going to help you launch future products and scale your existing brand, be sure to subscribe to this channel because we release content like this regularly. So apart from that, talk to you soon. See you next video.